What is up, Scrub fam? I am here with a gameplay video of Blue Yellow Hirudegarn. This is just a video so we can go over sequencing, how the deck is played just live. As you can see, what I'm doing to start the game off for my mulligan is I essentially have one guaranteed way to get Scrambling Assaults on Goten with the Planet Vegeta, so I went ahead and kept that. And then with my mulligan, I sent everything else back, and then I was rewarded for it with a one-drop Bardock and a Goten. So we're going to go ahead and start the game. Just waiting on our opponent to set up our life. This is actually one of my patrons. We were doing a playtesting session, and I figured this is a really good example of the deck itself, just so you guys can see it kind of in action and see the sequencing that I take in the lines of play, and then the differences in between just, when to make a certain play, when not to, when to extend, when not to extend. And Pan's a pretty good matchup to play against because you kind of get to just see what's going on. So he's going to charge her for seeing hit, play Handy Giru, and then pass. So that's another thing to be mindful of, is that anytime your opponent makes a turn one play, even if it's a blocker and they're on the play, they're now at 4 cards, whereas you're at much more with Hirudegarn. So then here it's pretty simple charge. We're going to charge the card that we can't combo with, and then just go ahead and start and get some value. We don't need to do too much here. We don't want to overextend on this turn. Maybe just put a little bit of pressure on our opponent. He has to set up his life. Lols. Alright. Then we'll swing. Draw 2. Alright, so we have the card that we're going to end up essentially putting down next turn for energy with Fluto, unless we don't draw another blue source. And so from here, it's probably not best to actually swing with the Goten. So we're actually just going to play the Goten and then pass turn. And then now we're kind of set up with a really strong turn because we're going to be able to deploy a second Goten. But in general, it's nice to get one on board. He's already taken 2 damage. Cards in hand, we're still pretty much at parity. Yeah, he is the blocker, but now he's got to figure out what to charge here. He charged a second red. This is a good sign for us because that means that he doesn't have access to Bean right now, since he has just double red energy. And so that just makes it going off on our turn much easier. The only negate he can really play right now is either Vado's Assistance or Unending Awakening, which that could be kind of annoying. And he actually just passed it back to us, putting no pressure on our leader. And then what a great draw, the Bean. So we go and charge the Flute. Now we have 2 cards in our energy. Both of them don't do anything for us. That's always good value there. And then now we're going to go ahead and lead with the Bardock swing. He plays the Unending Awakening. And the reason why we do that Bardock swing first is because just in case he plays the negate, because then now we can swing with Hirudegarn to still use the Sensu Bean, because you really kind of want to save your Gotens for last. So draw 2. Good draw. We play the Bean. I also have a preference of playing Sensu Bean first over Unyieldings. I prefer to play the Unyieldings when I'm tapped out, whereas the Beans, I like to use them when I have 1 blue standing. Just kind of like, situationally, it just feels better in that spot. Whereas when you're tapped out, you really want the Unyielding Spirit Trunks. And then so now we kind of get to keep chaining without actually ever having to swing with our Gotens. So we're just putting this pressure on him. He's having to take this damage or combo out of it. So he has second Unending Awakening. So right now he's at 20k. He has 2 5k pumps on him. And now we have to decide if we want to continue investing in this turn or not. So now we just kind of have to just chump up to 20. Yep. Good draw. Drew a Bean. Put those 2 to the bottom. We really just want to keep the cycle going, and the more times we can get to 20 to force him to have to spend a card, the better off we are. And I think here we're just going to go in a little bit further. Combo a Further Instruction Champa to either make him combo out of it or take the 2. So right now we're at 25, so he's going to give us 2 cards, or he's taking 2. Yeah, so he wouldn't take the 2, so he's already down to 4. We swap. Go ahead and play the Bardock again. And then now, again, see, we're getting a little bit of fortune here, ripping up beans and unyieldings for days. But now we kind of get to go through a full cycle if we need to, of swinging with the Bardock, and then untapping our energy. And then we have Hoy Emissary of Flame, pitching a Flying Nimbus to continue drawing cards and putting pressure on him. And so that's what I'm thinking about right now as I decide the line of play. As you can see, there's tons of micro decisions that happen in each turn, and this is just one of those spots where it's like, do I awaken here? Do I try and swing more? Like, there's a lot you can do on these turns. So he's going to block. I need to untap energy, but I'm going to go ahead and wait since he's tapped out, and then I'll swing with my Goten now. Because it sucks always combo power. A Scientist Fu is a great draw. It's what you want to see in this spot because we can go ahead and pressure him. So we're going to go Hoy. Discarding Nimbus. Try and play it in a Fu. That doesn't feel good. So right now we're at 25. So even if he awakens, he's still only at 25 himself. And right now what I'm thinking about doing is just like, if I want to leave... Yeah, he's so combo 2 cards. If I want to leave up the blue and actually just play Scientist Fu off the blue, which is what I'm going to do, and then I can go ahead and awaken after that, and then I can continue the pressure. Because now cards in hand disparity, I'm up to 7. He's just down to 3, and so we can kind of just force him down to 2 here. So there we go. Discard a Minutia. Try and get some extra value. Draw 2. Good draw. The FTC is exactly what we needed to see. Grab a Wanderer. Just make sure super combos aren't really relevant here. We really kind of want to push them. Now we get to Awaken. Untap 2. Swap the Bardock back to hand, play the Goten. See the extra card with the life. With the Bardock instead. And then just swap immediately, because we know we're not going to be able to pressure with that. But in general, we just got to see an extra card from taking our life instead, so that's why I opted to make that play. And then now, man, we're just value. Deck is thinned out. We're only down to 20-something cards. We've already filtered a lot of the stuff to the bottom, so now all the draws are just starting to get primo. And then now we kind of just get to go off here. Discard planet, draw 2. Oh, all 5Ks too. We're just going to go in. Yep, here we go. He'll have to untap. He only has 5 cards in hand. At this point, just deciding how much do I want to pull back. Do I want to leave Nimbus up? But now at this point, I think with the amount of cards in his hand, unless he has just all super combos, we can just kind of kill him here. And that's game. He's going to try and figure it out. We're currently at... Wow! So all those blue cards in hand, but just... no blue energy. That's the worst, man. Well, guys, there you have it. This was a gameplay video of Blue Yellow Hirudegarn. You kind of got to see the deck in action. Again, there's a lot of plays that happen on a given turn, and we did play against Red Blue Pan, and our opponent did get quite unfortunate, but that's something you have to think about when you're playing in your testing for the event that's coming up on Saturday is if you're playing a deck that has the potential to break, and if you have to draw a certain subset of cards, and even if you mulligan all 6 and don't see them, like, this is a thing that can happen to you. So make sure you're prepared when you go into a tournament. Make sure you're playing a deck that's heavily consistent, has everything you need, and so you feel prepared as you go into this weekend, so you can go ahead and make sure that you perform the best you can, especially in St. Louis. Check out tomorrow. I'll be doing a primer video on the metagame to expect, and then from there we'll keep it rolling throughout next week as we get ready for, Canada regionals, and then the week after that is Richmond, which I'll be attending as well. So it'll be nice to see if we can kind of crack this format. But in general, thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you so much for subscribing, and thank you to all the patrons who are out there supporting all this content. You guys are the reason why I do this. I've gotten a lot of positive feedback, and I appreciate you. Thank you so much for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed this video. Okay, bye!